Hello everyone, Alasdair Gold here. You might know me from doing videos about the football team Tottenham Hotspur, but I also do the odd little travel video around Europe, around the world, hopefully in the future as well, just to maybe give people out there a little insight into some of the places that I get to, and also whether it might be a place that you want to go to as well. So, where I've popped away for just a couple of days with my wife is Kefalonia, one of the Greek islands. It's a very beautiful place, as you can see behind me, and the sun is already out, which is fantastic, and we are in mid-June and we're expecting temperatures to get up into the 30s. We arrived in the airport, it's only 15 minutes away from Alasdair, which is where we're staying, which is quite a good base kind of area if you want to visit and explore Kefalonia a little bit better. We're actually staying at, this is a main square which I'm walking into in Alasdair. And our hotel, probably get a better view of it in a minute. It's that building just there, peeking above the umbrellas behind me. It is called Hotel Enos. Don't make the mistake I did of telling the taxi driver it's Hotel Anus. He looked very confused. I don't believe there are any hotels, certainly in this vicinity, called Hotel Anus. But yeah, so what we're going to do in Kefalonia, we're going to go to various sites around the place. We're going to go to the Melisani Caves, the Drogarati Caves, which is more of an underground thing. I know the name cave immediately tells you it's underground, but the Melisani one's going to be slightly different. It's more of a, you go in a boat and there's kind of an open roofed area. You'll see it all hopefully in this video, as long as nothing goes particularly wrong. We're going to have a look at Petani Beach, which is quite famous, and we've also been told by the locals to go and look at Petani Beach. Which looks spectacular as well, and some other little bits and pieces in between. Alasdair itself, it's kind of like a port town. It's the port is, probably not going to see it behind me because I think it's covered, but it is just that way. It's about 5 minutes down the road from this main square, and this main square I'm standing in right now, during the evenings, I'm told it's a thriving kind of bustling place with children that all come around here to kind of play in the square. Everyone eats in these restaurants around, and it is quite a cool place, quite frankly. So we should hopefully see more of that. Like I say, we're only here for 2 and a bit days. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, so we're going to try and get as much in as possible, and hopefully be able to tell you whether you can fit everything in as well, like we're hoping to, or whether you need a little bit more time. I must admit, we're already, having just looked around it briefly, we're already thinking we probably wanted a bit more time. But we'll find out. We'll see whether it's a mad rush to pack everything in, but hopefully it will all work. The sun is already out, and it's early in the morning, and it's beautiful. Lots of palm trees, as you can see around me. There we go. So yes, this is Alasdair. We are going to get around to different parts of the island. I think it's the biggest of the Greek islands around here, and there's quite a lot to take in. Everyone's told us we should have got a car, so for anyone that is coming here, perhaps do get yourself a car if you're confident in driving. From what we saw, the roads are, well, it's an island, so maybe, you know, it's not as big as the UK or anything like that, of course, so the roads are not quite of the same ilk, as it were. But I'd say probably in hindsight I probably would have been comfortable driving it. It doesn't look too bad at all. I have been told that when you're going into some of the beaches like Myrtos and Petani, they're a little bit more in a, essentially because they're secluded, you're going up and down quite hilly areas with maybe not too much barriers, so maybe that part of it might be a little worrying for perhaps nervous drivers. But yeah, we're not going to do it, so we're going to try and do it through tours and taxis, and we'll let you know how that works if you're not looking to drive when you're over here. And yeah, lots of restaurants down the street. I can already see lots of restaurants and bars and stuff, and not in, when I say that, I mean we're not talking about kind of some strip in Malia or something like that. It's more Kefalonia, kind of the vibe I've got thus far, having only been here not too long, is kind of a relaxed vibe. One of the locals told me it's maybe some of the other Greek islands are more of a, how do I put it, like a night spot. A place like this is probably more of a family island. There's a more family vibe to it, and we shall hopefully find that over the next couple of days or so. So yes, I shall let you know how my travels get on, and hopefully it may be somewhere you want to visit yourself. So here I am now in Petani. You can probably hear the waves crashing up onto the beach. It is incredibly idyllic. I'll just show you kind of what's going on around me here. Apologies for the Tom Cruise Top Gun style sunglasses, but it is so bright, the sunshine in Kefalonia. You do pretty much have to bring sunglasses, otherwise you end up squinting, and that, well, not that I look great enough on this video as it is, but it would look even worse. So, how we got to Petani, I'll give you a little kind of an understanding of how we got here, because there's a good way to do it, I think, personally. So, if you're not hiring a car, obviously a lot of people hire a car, and they do say in Kefalonia it probably is one of the better things to do. If you're comfortable with driving here, it makes it all very accessible. If, like us, my wife and I, you haven't hired a car, because we're only here for a couple of days, of course, what we did, we got the ferry across from Alasdair to Lixouri. It's only €3 each. Nice little ferry ride across the water, especially in weathers like this, 33 degrees, which is incredible. Then when you get to Lixouri, obviously you can have a little look around there. There's lots of lovely little shops. It's a bit of a harbour kind of town, restaurants. Have a drink by the water. It's beautiful. But then what you do is you go across the square, and there's a cab stand. All the taxis are there in the main square, and essentially just kind of negotiate yourself a deal with for a return trip. What we did, we got one which other people may get better than us. I got us €50 return, so 25 each way. It's about a 20-minute drive, Petani from Lixouri. And the reason it's a little bit kind of isolated in terms of there's no buses and things like that really, as if you can see behind me, it's a bit of a kind of a windy mountain roads to get down here, and pretty much all the roads are like that, because this is a little bit of a secluded paradise of a part, really. It is beautiful. I'm not really used to those kind of holidays where you get kind of water like that crystal clear kind of water. Everyone in it, because it's not cold at all. It's beautiful water. It's really warm. I just wish I'd brought swimming shorts. I made the big mistake of just coming in normal shorts, and yeah, I'm that guy who's been hiking my shorts up as the waves crash into me. All I needed was a handkerchief knotted on my head to complete the very British 1950s look. But yeah, it's incredible. The only thing I would say is bring some sandals or flip-flops, because I don't know if you can see it down here or not, it's not really sand. There's little elements of sand, but mostly it's like a pebbly, I guess, which is probably the easiest way to explain it. But some of them are quite big stones, and if you don't want to be like me, who was hopping around like a baby going ooh ah ooh, which was not a great look to fellow holiday makers here, yeah, I'd bring a pair of sandals or flip-flops just to have a walk around in. But it's such a lovely location. I mean, what it is you've got all the sunbeds down there, or lounges, whatever you want to call them, that you can hire for €8 for 2 sunbeds and an umbrella, and then they're yours for as long as you want them. There's the restaurants and tavernas up there as well, and they come down and they have a little menu there. You can have a drink and food, and then they'll bring it to you. And what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to head off and do some kayaking, because they've got the kayaking and boats down there, and for kayaking it's only, I think it was €15 for 2 of us in a 2-person kayak. I think it would be 12 for a single kayak. So yeah, we're going to have to give that a go, because it's something my wife has always wanted to do, my wife Carly. I haven't done it since I was about a teenager on a school holiday many years ago, so I'm probably going to end up in that clear water despite not having swimming shorts, but I don't think I can complain because in this weather I'm probably going to be dry in about 20 minutes anyway. But no, it's beautiful. It feels like a bit of secluded paradise. There are other beaches in Kefalonia, more kind of famous ones I think, but everyone, all the locals that I speak to, always speak about this one, Petani. Come to Petani because it is absolutely the little kind of hidden cove of paradise. So yeah, honestly, I'm just trying to give you, just going to visit, trying to get my face out of it. I'll do some more video without me in it, but honestly, if you get a chance and you get some time, set it aside to come down here because it is just a beautiful little part of the world. Kefalonia is, you know, you can hear the waves crashing. I'm sorry if they're probably, I say sorry if they're too loud. It probably might be a good thing having crashing waves rather than my voice, but either way, you're getting to see this place and I really heartily recommend it, I do.
Safety first, ich kenne mich ja. Wegen der Quadcopter.
Very good, 16.
Oh, that is Kefalonia. Honestly, incredible. It really is. Yes, I needed more time. My wife and I definitely needed more time, but we squeezed a lot in. And do you know what? The final day, we managed to, because we had a late flight back, we managed to hop on a tour with Avalon Tours, which I really recommend. We found it on TripAdvisor. They took us to so many places, which beautifully filled out our last day and made sure that we got a lot of the sites that you need to see when you get to Kefalonia. So we went to Melisani, which is this incredible cave with, how to describe it? It's like, apparently the top of the cave fell in, so you can kind of see out to the blue sky, and that creates this incredible effect on the water, which is just the most incredible shade of blue. You get a little boat, you go around it for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that, with a very charismatic rower, boatsman, for whatever the correct expression is, and that was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Then, well, actually just before that, we went to Drogorati, which is an indoor cave, which is very well kind of preserved with lighting and everything, and it's obviously millions of years worth of stalactites, stalagmites, all of that, if you love all of that. And incredibly cool and temperature-wise to step into in the hot kind of weather of Kefalonia. That was incredible as well, just to see this natural phenomenon, really. Where else did we go to? We went to, because obviously something that inspired us to actually come to Kefalonia, my wife and I, was the movie Captain Corelli's Mandolin. I say the movie, actually both loved the book first and then watched the movie. And actually on the tour, they take you to various places that actually were filming locations for the movie, which I think places like Sami, lovely little places to drop you off in a little village town where part of it was filmed as well, just on the outside of Sami. And it was a terrific, really terrific tour. Get to see the lighthouse that's at the end of this. And yeah, it was a fantastic way to just kind of top off our last day and make sure we saw all those little sights that you really need to see in Kefalonia. And we looked down on Myrtos Beach as well, which is phenomenal. I mean, you should have already seen in this, hopefully. We headed to Petani Beach, which we felt was fantastic. Like you'd have heard me say before, the locals see Petani as kind of, I guess, their beach, which makes it slightly more, I suppose, slightly less touristy, I guess, and slightly more secluded. Looking at Myrtos from above, which is how we got to see it, it's very similar. It's very beautiful blue waters, beautiful kind of white sand. I think it looks like it's an element of pebbles as well, same as Petani was, but it's pretty much either or, I'd say. I'm sure if you go to either of them, you're not going to go far wrong. And there's plenty of other beaches around. Lassi, which isn't too far from here in Alasdair as well. Loads to see. Honestly, I've been so impressed with Kefalonia. The people are fantastic. Everything they can do to possibly accommodate you, they will. Obviously, as well as agriculture, it's a place that is built upon tourism. And of course, during the pandemic, hit them hard, like most places that have built on that. And so you can clearly see, with everyone starting to come back here, a real need to kind of please, and they just go the extra yard for you. And it is a fantastic place. I'm walking just down now. If you can't see, this is a bridge which actually leads two different sides of Kefalonia. It was built by, his name's completely gone out of my head, but I think it was a Belgian architect, and they built that little, in the middle there, little monument to him. The sun has pretty much been out our entire stay. I think when we first arrived there's a little bit of cloud. Other than that, we're here in mid-June. Temperatures have been up in the either high 20s or we've got up to about 33 today. It's phenomenal, and the sights are phenomenal. And obviously what you've got to understand about Kefalonia as well, if you weren't aware, and if you've seen Captain Corelli's mandolin, you will be, they had an awful earthquake here in 1953, which devastated much of the island. Alasdair behind me, the capital, was pretty much flattened. And what they had to do, they pretty much rebuilt the island within 2 years. And that's why you'll go to various places where you'll see the ruins of kind of the old houses and villages and towns, and then they've built new ones either above, well, mostly below them to be safe. And it was quite interesting, the tour guide was saying that just in case there ever was another big earthquake like that in the future, the building regulations for every building built on Kefalonia are the most stringent ever. It has to be able to withstand, I think she said something like a 10.5 earthquake. So yeah, everything is taken into account now, and yeah, it's an absolutely phenomenal place. Honestly, I haven't really done many of the Greek islands in my life, kind of thing, and this was an eye-opener for me of how beautiful they can be. I'm just looking out across the water. I mean, you can see it behind me. I've got exactly the same view, and this stretch of water, my wife and I, we were walking along this bridge yesterday, and one of the things you can see, and we were very fortunate enough to see it, a turtle swimming by. That's what they do. The turtles come here, and there's little kind of areas and beach areas where they lay their eggs, and hundreds upon hundreds of new turtles are born, and it's become this thing where scientists from across the world come to protect this event and make sure it keeps happening. And yeah, honestly, hopefully I got a little kind of a little video of it, which hopefully you'll have already seen in this video, just to see. We were very excited just to see a turtle. It's the kind of thing, you know, you don't get to see, people from the UK don't get to see that kind of thing just out in the natural, in the wild, as it were. So yeah, Kefalonia, honestly, I can only recommend the tour that we did with Avalon Tours. That was actually quite a last minute thing. We were wondering, oh, do we get taxis? Do we quickly go around? At a last minute, only last night, we decided to do that tour, and they were brilliant. We booked it up last night. It was only £39 a head, and we were out for 5 hours, and that included all of our entrance fees to all of the things. The only little tiny extra we had to pay was a little tip to the man rowing our boat in Melisani in the caves, and that was it. So that's £39 for the both of us, each, £39 each. And we looked up some of the other tours were going about 100 each. So Honestly, it's great value. Sandra was our tour guide. She was fantastic. She just explains the entire history of everywhere you're going. Air-conditioned, big coach. Drops you off for a nice bit of lunch. There's a variety of places you can go to and grab lunch in a little village I was speaking about earlier where Captain Corelli's mandolin was filmed, part of it. I should say, if you're a massive movie buff, like myself, and you're looking to see, oh, there's that place from Captain Corelli's mandolin, there's that house, there's that place in it. That's not quite what you'll see, because apparently they built a lot of the sets and then took them down as soon as they were finished filming. But let's be honest, you're here for the locale, and that's exactly why they came to Kefalonia to film the movie, because you can't really recreate Kefalonia anywhere else. It's got this vibe about it. It's just a beautiful place. It absolutely is. So 100% recommend it. You know, we got really good cheap flights. Flights aren't expensive. It's a 3-hour flight from Stansted, where we came from. It's hotel was cheap as well. Like I said, we stayed at the Enos hotel in Argostoli. I personally do think it's been a good launch pad of a place, Argostoli. It's the one which probably you're going to find the most shops and restaurants, because it is the capital of Kefalonia. But there are other places you can get there. You can get in a taxi. You can, if you've brought a car yourself, then you can drive around. I think I said earlier in the video about some people are warned, you know, if you're a nervous driver, some of the roads might be a little bit iffy, and being on the coach, I can understand why. I've seen that. There's some tight bends, there's some mountain roads where maybe the barriers aren't the greatest that you'd kind of expect on those kind of roads. So yeah, be very careful if you are driving. But otherwise, yeah, go on a tour. Honestly, there's many other tours, but the Avalon one we took, which I got off TripAdvisor, was superb. It was called Highlights of Kefalonia, I think it was called. So I do thoroughly recommend that, and I shall be leaving them a very good TripAdvisor review as soon as I've finished doing this, pretty much. And yeah, so we're going to head off back into Argostoli, have a meal before getting our late flight home. That's the good thing about the Stansted flights. It's a very late flight. It's about 10:40 at night. So it's yeah, it means you kind of get another full day here. So I would recommend probably one more day. We were here 2 and a bit days. I'd say maybe 3 days means you don't have to do any rushing around and you can really enjoy it. And yeah, beautiful place, Kefalonia. Can absolutely recommend it. And yeah, so if it's a place you want to go to, please do. And I shall be doing many more of these videos as well. Hopefully, the more places I can get to go to in the world when time allows and work allows. There you go. Enjoy Kefalonia.